So can I really call here? The guy bets almost a pot in 3-bet pot uh, with 4 flush. I really don't like the spot, and that usually means trouble. Alright, let's recap. I open from cutoff with ace-10 suited, and aggro guy 3-bets me from small blind. The flop comes 5-8 ace, 2 clubs, and the villain, he checks it pretty quickly to me. So I'm thinking that most of the time we are ahead here, unless he have specifically aces. But even though he would have them, I think that he would bet most of the time. But I don't see any merit in betting, so I check behind. The turn brings jack of diamonds, and the guy bets like 1/3. I call because I still think I'm ahead. Now the river brings 5 of clubs, and he bets 80% of the pot. And my first impression here is to fold, but then I started thinking that was it so that could this line be actually over bluffed, and especially when the guy is quite aggro. So I flick in the call and I am right. Let's go. And this hand set the tone to the whole week. A lot of bluff catching to do in the future as well. Alright, the next hand that gets us into the trouble is ace-6 suited, which I open under the gun. I know it's borderline, but I just want to be in there with a lot of recreationals. I get 3 calls, and the flop comes 3-4 ace with 2 clubs. I check it out of position because it's just not strong enough to value bet against 3 guys. The last guy to act. Aggro Recreational bets like 1.2 times pot or something like that, and I am not going anywhere, so I decide to flick in the call. The turn is 8 of clubs, so the flush gets in there, and if he continues betting, I'm not loving my life, but let's see what happens. He checks it behind quickly, so I'm thinking that most of the time we actually might have the best hand here, but now there's a flush and a 4 to a straight on the table, so I don't think that we can value bet either. What we could do, we could check call, check fold, or we could block bet to induce a raise from aggro Recreational. So that's what I decide to do. I block bet like 10% of the pot, and I'm prepared to flick in the call, and that's what I do. And beautiful, he had total random. So this time that decision was right. Alright, the next hand is a bit similar than the previous one. We open pocket 7s from under the gun and get 2 callers. The flop comes 6-10 queen 2 clubs. I check it because we don't have enough strong enough hand to see bet there. And the flop gets checked through. The turn is another queen, and I still don't think that we have a good enough hand to bet here, so I check it again. The cutoff checks as well, and the button bets pot now. Now that it gets checked to him twice, I think that he just stabs whatever hand, so we are not going anywhere. Let's see what the cutoff does. He thinks for quite some time and finally decides to let his hand go. And the river. River is 8 of spades. I don't think that changes much, so our plan still is to check and call. Obviously we are not loving to flick in the call here, but that was the plan from the turn on. So even though he bets on the bigger side, we flick in the call, and he has whatever hand. But before going to next hands, let's see where we started this week from. Hello guys, currently reporting from Koli National Park in eastern Finland. As you can see, it's pretty chilly here. It's around 16 degrees minus Celsius. So I try to keep this short. Last week we ended up at the 404, so that means that we could start playing NL40 this week. Let's see how we went. Alright, this one is really interesting. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that showdown. So I opened the bucket rockets from cutoff and the straddle 3 bets. We are so deep that I don't think that calling is an option, so I 4-bet on a bigger side, almost 3 times his raise, and he thinks for quite some time before flicking in the call. The flop is 2-8 Jack Rainbow, which is very good flop for us. I decide to bet small here to keep all kinds of random hands, 2 overs and such in, and kind of to induce a raise as well. And he got a time bank and decided to call. The turn is 5 of spades. He checks, and my thinking is that we continue as on the flop. Let's bet small to induce and to keep worse hands drawing dead possibly in. So the rear brings 7 of spades. Backdoor flush, which we block, and still I think that we have to value bet it here. It feels a bit thin what we misclick. It seems like we misclicked it here. I was supposed to go all in, but I misclicked 1 big blind, so of course he had ace king there. Alright, double up coming. So limp pot, I have 8-10 suited and the flop comes 2-8-10. It's a 5-way flop and villain leads with pot. Of course, he could have like deuce, 8s, 10s, a lot of hands that has us beat. But then again, he could have jacks, ace 10, king 10, 9 jack, a lot of hands. And of course, we want to get money in as fast as possible, so we raise on a bigger side to get value from all kinds of overpairs and draws and things like that. So we raise it up and the villain re-raises. I don't see any other option here to just get it in because he has so little left compared to the pot that I don't think that he's folding anything. So let's just get it in, and he snaps it off with pocket queens. Don't limp big pockets if you don't know how to fold them. I guess that could be the lesson here. Beautiful. But in the next hand, it's very rare that you get it in 3 ways from the flop with 100% equity. Huge pot with huge equity coming up. So I'll open pocket 7s from early position and got 3-bet from next position from Recreational, which I have tagged as loose passive, and we get a call from blinds as well. So obviously nothing to do but flick in the call here. And the board comes beautiful 2-3-7. I checked it to the original raiser. He bets like 2/3, and the next guy raises when we have like the immortal nuts. Well, not maybe immortal, but absolute nuts on the flop. I'm not sure what to do here. Should I re-raise it or should I just call? I think it's so dry, the board. I will just call. And what happened next is amazing. The original raiser ships it in for 700 bigs, and we have like 320 still left. And the raiser from flop is still yet to act. He flicks in the call as well, and they both have pocket kings. So they are drawing dead. It's amazing. The pot is like 1700 bigs, even though only 1300-ish of it will be mine. But amazing. I don't remember this happening before. Getting it in versus 2 with 0 equity from the flop. Amazing. Alright, let's continue with the topic of the week, bluff catching. So there's a limper from under the gun. I saw with ace king offsuit, and now he decides to Limp-Reraise to 44 bigs. Usually when villains do that, it is big pairs, ace king etc, and of course some bluffs from time to time. This time I decided to just call it with ace king, and if flop comes something like this, he can continue representing the hand that I have if he has bluff. So he bets on ace high board. I call, nothing else to do in my opinion, and the same thing happens on turn. He leads on smaller side and I just call. And on the river, he ships it in. If he has jacks, ace jacks, aces, so be it. I think that he has enough bluffs and or worse aces like ace 10, ace queen that we can call it off profitably here. And he turns off jack king suited. And obviously we are good. But this session wasn't all about bluff catching. I had to do some insane folds as well, as in next hand. Type player from under the gun opens to 6.5 bigs, and I'm on the big blind with pocket queens. And I don't see any other play here basically, but just to 3-bet it, and that's what I do. Try to get us out of the way, and original raise calls. The flop is 6-9 jack with 2 spades, and I see bet like half pot here because it's draw heavy board and so on and so forth. And our villain raises us. I don't like this situation at all, but we just can't fold to a single raise yet because there are a lot of flush draws and straight draws etc on the board. The turn is king of hearts, and we check to the raiser, who decides to ship it in. And type player like that, raising us already on flop. Now scare card for him comes on turn and he overbet jams it in. I just don't see that we are good here often enough, so I have to call. I just have to fold it here. And I don't know whether it was the insane fold that I said it would be, but pretty solid fold in my opinion. And as per usual, when I get into these situations, I usually like to buy in the showdown, which I did here as well, and he had pocket sixes, so he flopped the number of the beast. It was good fold this time. Is it always? Well, probably not always, but I think that it's most of the time. Alright, in this next hand, I'm trying to convince you guys that it's not only hero folds and hero calls. I occasionally find the bluff myself as well. So here I open ducks, aka pocket twos from +1, and I get 3-bet. I call basically to 7. The flop comes 3-5 king with 2 diamonds, and naturally I will check to the raiser, which bets like 25% of the pot. In my opinion, the call is close here. Whether to call or fold, I think that when we have the double backdoor, so a backdoor straight and flush draw, we can call once. And the turn is 8 of spades. And the villain thinks for quite some time before he decides to check it behind. To be honest, I'm not sure at all whether we have the best hand here or not. He can have easily like pocket nines to pocket queens. But this time I decided to turn my hand into a bluff and bet like 2 times the pot. And let's hope the fold. And he quickly folds. So we might be actually bluffing there with best hand. But hey, thanks for watching. Let's go see how the week went.
Alright, that's week 3 done. I've played around 17 hours and the bankroll is now at 1,320, which means I won almost $1,000. in less than 20 hours, which is amazing. And so are the views. Look at those. Incredible.